Can Doris Day make a bad film? I don't think so. Certainly that's the case with the first half of Do Not Disturb, which I absolutely adored and was completely addicted to it. And then about halfway through, the location switches, and I'm not going to say what it is, I'm not going to spoil anything about this, but about halfway through, the tone changes, the location changes, and I feel like it just wasn't as engaging. So this was released in 1965. It's directed by Ralph Levi, or Levy, and written by Richard Albrin and Milt Rosen, and stars, of course, Doris Day as Janet, and Rod Taylor as her husband, Mike. And the description from IMDb is as follows. American couple Janet and Mike move to England for his business. She soon becomes paranoid that he is having an affair with his attractive secretary and decides to get back at him by pretending she has been unfaithful. Obviously, a lot of comedy is going to be there because she thinks he's having an affair, so she pretends to have an affair, but is anybody actually having an affair? There are a lot of questions raised and some dramatic irony, and it's a lot of good fun. Particularly when they're in London, I really enjoyed that. Testament to how good it is. Within the first 5 minutes, all that happens is she pays the taxi driver for her trip. That's all that happens. And yet, it's very entertaining. It's very good at setting up the tone for the rest of the film and kind of laying the groundwork for the kind of comedy that we can expect. Thereafter, I think the narrative... The weird thing about this is the first half, the bit that I really like, not too much happens. It takes us quite a bit of time for us to get into this whole concept that Janet suspects her husband is having an affair. But because of how brilliant Janet is as a character and how amazing Day's performance is, it's so engaging. And I do have to say, while it's not one of my favourite Doris Day films, Janet is definitely one of my favourite Doris Day characters. I think she's amazing. There's a cute little fox in it, which sounds weird and out of context, but there is a fox in it, and I loved her interaction with it, and I absolutely adored it. When it switches, I just feel like the tone changes, and it's not necessarily jarring, but because I'd enjoyed maybe 50 minutes or an hour of one kind of film, I sort of felt like I wasn't ready for that switch. It's not so much that it was bad, because that's actually when the action kicks in, and that's when the narrative really begins to develop, and the pacing really quickens and a lot more actually happens. But for me, I just preferred the first half. The second half isn't bad, I just didn't find it quite as captivating. Having said that, I thoroughly liked the ending. I thought it kind of came back round to the things that I liked in the first bit and had the same tone and the same style. Day has some of the most amazing costumes in this. She looks fantastic. Some of the hats she wears are gorgeous. I absolutely adore them. I really cannot fault this film. It was, well, I can fault the middle bit, but the bits that I loved, I really loved. It was nominated for a Golden Globe, but it was just nominated for the most promising newcomer female to Maura McGivney. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I really liked it. Would I watch it again? You know what, I would. I mean, I'd probably watch any Doris Day film at any point because I love her and her performance was amazing. But I would certainly recommend it. As I said, the second half isn't bad, it's just different, not necessarily what I was expecting. But the power of the first half really makes up for it. If you haven't seen Do Not Disturb, I thoroughly recommend it.